Yo, it's Jake. In this video, we're gonna take you through cable routing on your Apogee One. Get all the cables in the right directions, make sure your brake cable, your dropper cable, and if you're old school and you wanna run cabled shifting, make sure that your shifter cable runs right on your Apogee One duo frame. Let's go. The first thing you're gonna do is drop the front of the skid plate so you can access the cable routing. What's really cool about the free float module is that all the cable routing flows in here under the skid plate and it's super easy to get at. And there's even a little organizer that's right under here. So we'll start taking that apart. Once you have the two front bolts off, you can loosen the back two bolts. You can take them all the way off if you want, optional. I like to loosen them and then you can just drop the skid plate down like this, and that'll give you all the access you need to get at the cable organizer underneath and to get your cables through from the back of the bike. Note that when you drop the skid plate, there is a little plastic washer on the inside of each of the bolts. Don't lose these guys because you'll want them when you put the skid plate back on. Under the skid plate, you'll get access to the guide block. This helps guide all the cables. On the far right here, or on the non-drive side, you have the brake cable. In the middle is the dropper cable, and on the drive side is the shifter cable. From the other side, you can see how the cables come out of the down tube and into the guide block before they travel through the free float module. Next, you want to remove the three little cable clips that run along the rear assembly. I like to use a little needle nose pliers super carefully so that you don't chip the paint. You can bend them a little bit. They are 3D printed. They're not gonna snap on you. And they just come off like that. Okay, I like to start at the back of the bike with the rear brake first, then the dropper, then your rear shifter. I've got my rear brake caliper on and my hose cable, because it's internal routing. I've got my hose cable cut so that I can run it all the way up through the frame ports and to the rear brake. We're gonna start by putting each of the clips on here, and then we'll go through the FFM and then up the down tube. Okay, so we're just gonna start putting these clips in. It's pretty self-explanatory. They go on how they came off. You just sort of hook it around one end and loop it into the other. And when it's done, it should look like this. 1, 2, 3. On to dropper cable routing. The Apogee One makes dropper cable routing really easy. You don't have to blindly route a cable through the bottom bracket. You get this nice open space to work with, and we've got some beautiful routing designed around it. Okay, first you want to make sure that your dropper cable comes out of the seat tube and then out of the side plate, just like this. Next, we'll grab our little cable guide and we'll set that up right here on the side plate and bolt that down. That's not too bad. You don't want to go too tight with this guy, just get it snug. And then because the dropper cable runs in the middle of the two cables in the organizer, you want this to go inside of where your brake cable is. Once you've got it into the side plate, we will thread it up through the center of the down tube. You want to have your port off and ready to accept that up top. And then once it's through, you'll click it into this little organizer just like that. Next, we'll remove the port so that your cable can come up through the top of the frame. Then you'll route your cable up through the down tube. Finally, let's talk rear shifter routing. If you're not running a wireless system, we have some really nifty 3D printed parts for you. These are cable guides that fit right on the frame of the Apogee. So like this, and from the back side along the chainstay. These just snap on, click, click, and they hold the derailleur cable along the top here and allow it to arc nicely into the rear dropout. You can run the cable through the down tube, just like we did with the brake and the dropper post, through the inside of the module, and then it'll come out the outside of the module and right into this nice little guide. You can use zip ties to secure these, just regular old zip ties. and run it into your rear derailleur. Before you close up the skid plate, you're going to check that all of your cables are in the organizer block in the right place. So on the non-drive side, you have your brake. In the center, you have your dropper. And on the drive side, you have your shifter cable if you're not running wireless. And then once we're ready with that, we're going to close up the skid plate. You just slide it back into place. You want to pinch these two little wings so that it slides up nicely into there. And then you can check the alignment of the bolts on both sides. On these bolts, you're going to want to throw down a little bit of Loctite just in case. Don't forget to tighten the last back two bolts of the skid plate as well. Once you have the skid plate back in place, you get your two little bolts back in there and you're ready to go. All right, that should be everything you need to know about the basics of setup and cable routing on the Apogee One. If you have any questions, hit us up in the comments and let us know. It's possible we forgot something. We'll be there to answer for you.